All right, let's jump into this. We're doing a deep dive on Gary Vaynerchuk's Crush It,
Oh, yeah. This one's a classic.
published back in 2009. I feel like it really kicked off this whole wave of
Personal branding, yeah.
exactly. And even got a shout out from Tim Ferriss back in the day.
Huge endorsement for sure, but,
It's Gary's energy that really,
makes it.
yes. So, in this deep dive, let's break down his core message.
Turning your passion into a brand, into a business.
Exactly. Even though things have changed since 2009, the internet's a different beast now.
Yeah, but the core principles, they still hold up.
Absolutely. So, first off, Vaynerchuk is all about passion, right?
Built a multi-million-dollar business just from loving wine.
And he's convinced that anyone can do it, right?
Yeah.
Monetize what you love in this digital age.
And that's what's so cool about his book. It's not just find what you enjoy.
It goes way deeper than that, yeah.
He ties passion to this concept of your DNA.
Your DNA
Yeah, like not just follow your bliss, but really digging into your strengths, the stuff that just
comes naturally, yeah.
makes you lose track of time.
He even says to think back to your childhood, what were you obsessed with?
Totally. What activities did you just get lost in?
Yeah, because that could be a clue to your, hidden talents.
Exactly. Like, have you ever had a job where time just flew by? You were probably in your DNA zone right there and didn't even know it.
Wow. Okay, I like that. So once you've got that figured out, the DNA, Vaynerchuk says, you got to work.
Super hard, yeah.
Yeah.
He's got those 3 core rules.
Right. Love your family, work super hard, live your passion.
But they're all connected, right?
He really stresses that.
Working hard at what you love, it doesn't even feel like work.
He's got all those crazy stories about working crazy hours.
At the wine business, but loving every minute of it.
Totally. Okay, so passion, DNA, hard work, but there's more.
Oh, yeah, you got to build that personal brand too.
Vaynerchuk is huge on that.
It's like essential in this crazy crowded world.
How you stand out, right?
You become recognizable.
And Vaynerchuk himself is the perfect example.
Wine Library TV, man, that was brilliant.
He wasn't just selling wine. He was selling
Gary Vaynerchuk.
that energy, that personality, sometimes a little bit crazy.
People loved it.
They were buying into his world.
It wasn't just about the Cabernet anymore.
Okay, so we've got the passion, the DNA, personal branding.
Mm-hmm.
What else makes up Vaynerchuk's playbook for crushing it?
Content, man. You got to have great content.
To draw people in.
Like a magnet.
And to keep them engaged, right?
Exactly. He uses this metaphor. It's like a lure and a lasso.
Mm-hmm.
The lure is your content. It draws them in. And the lasso is how you build relationships, keep them close.
He talks about authenticity, storytelling, always giving your audience something valuable.
And he gives a really practical tip, too. Think of 50 blog topics related to your passion. If you can't, maybe it's not the right focus.
I love that. It's a good litmus test.
Totally. If you're truly passionate, you should have tons of ideas.
All right, so content is key, but then you have to choose where to put it all.
Platforms, platforms, platforms. Back in 2009, Vaynerchuk was all about video.
Wine Library TV, yeah. But he talked about other platforms too, right?
Blogging, social media. He mentions WordPress, Tumblr, even Flickr. It's funny to think about those now.
Some of them feel ancient.
Shows how fast things change. Which brings us back to that idea of adapting, right? Vaynerchuk's advice is solid, though. Choose the platform that fits your content and your personality.
Don't try to be everywhere.
Exactly. Focus your energy. And this ties into something else he was already seeing back then, the whole changing world of business.
He was pretty blunt about the struggles of traditional media.
Oh, yeah. He saw the internet as the real opportunity.
To build your own platform, control your own story.
You don't need permission from anyone anymore. No gatekeepers.
So how do you actually build a successful platform in this new world?
Community. That's a big one for Vaynerchuk.
Not just throwing content out there, but engaging, right?
Exactly. Responding to comments, starting discussions, making people feel like they belong.
It's about creating a two-way dialogue.
He calls it caring. Genuinely connecting with people, building relationships.
He talks about Jared Monitz, the retired soccer player, building this massive community online around soccer.
Just by being super active on social media.
Responding to fans, sharing his insights.
It's a great example of how community can be the heart of a business.
Even for someone outside of a traditional business field.
Exactly.
So I've got passion, DNA, personal branding, content, community, and then
Then comes the fun part. monetizing your passion.
Ah, finally.
Vaynerchuk has tons of strategies for this: advertising, speaking gigs, affiliate programs, even starting your own retail business. He even suggests selling ad space on your forehead.
Oh, classic Gary.
But the point is, there are so many ways to monetize your passion. The key is finding what works for you, your skills, and what your community actually wants.
He's big on providing value, though.
Oh, absolutely. If you offer something people actually want or need, they'll pay for it.
He's also realistic that it takes time.
No get-rich-quick schemes here. It took him years to build Wine Library TV into what it became.
There's about consistency, right?
Day after day, putting in the work, creating great content, engaging with your people.
So patience and persistence are key.
Huge. But remember, it's all built on passion, so it doesn't feel like work. It feels like
Living the dream.
you're calling the shots, making a difference, getting paid to do what you love.
That's crushing it.
Exactly. But hold on, we're missing one huge piece of this puzzle. Something that can make or break your success.
What's that?
Well, I guess we'll have to save that for the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat. Welcome back to our deep dive on Crush It. We left off with a bit of a cliffhanger.
That one ingredient that can make or break you.
Exactly. Adaptability.
It's huge. You can have the best idea, the strongest work ethic.
But if you can't roll with the punches.
You're sunk. Especially in the online world, things move so fast.
Vaynerchuk's book came out in 2009. Think about it.
Facebook was still new. Twitter was just getting started.
Yeah. We didn't even have Instagram, TikTok, any of that.
Exactly. And that's why this whole idea of adaptability.
It's more relevant than ever.
He uses this great analogy in the book, compares the business world to a raging river.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
He says if you try to stand rigid in the current, you'll just get swept away.
Makes sense.
But if you're flexible, like a river rafter, you can ride the waves.
I like that.
So how do we become those expert rafters?
Yeah, how do we get that adaptability?
Vaynerchuk has a few tips. First off, stay informed.
No burying your head in the sand.
Exactly. You have to know what's happening in your industry, the trends, the new tech,
Pay attention to how people are behaving.
their habits, their wants. It's always changing.
And he also talks about never stop learning, right?
Constantly explore, experiment with new stuff.
Because the moment you think you know it all,
That's when you get
he
disrupted.
tells that story in the book, right? Two businesses, one refused to change,
And they went under,
the other embraced the new stuff, and
thrived. It's a good reminder of what's at stake.
so it's not just about planning for the future, it's about being ready to react right now.
To pivot on a dime, that's where that reactionary business concept comes in.
Oh yeah, he talked about that. What was that exactly?
It's being able to adjust to the market instantly. Like, see a trend and pounce on it.
He used Domino's Pizza as an example.
Yeah, they had that whole PR crisis.
But instead of ignoring it,
They owned up to it, apologized, used social media to show how they were improving,
was pretty smart.
turned a disaster into a win. And Vaynerchuk says that's crucial now more than ever.
So it all comes back to that flexibility, being open to new ideas.
Willing to change course when you need to.
And this ties into what we talked about before, right?
Passion and DNA.
If you're really passionate about what you're doing, those challenges,
They don't feel so daunting.
it's like passion fuels your resilience.
Absolutely. And this adaptability thing, it's not just for business.
He sees it as a life skill, right?
Being able to handle change, uncertainty, that's huge for everyone.
So Crush It. It's not just a business book. It's like a philosophy.
For navigating life in a world that's constantly shifting,
I love that. So we've talked about finding your passion, building your brand, creating content, monetizing it.
and this crucial adaptability piece,
It's been a great deep dive. Even though Vaynerchuk's book is from 2009,
his message is still so powerful.
the specific tools might change.
But the core stuff, the desire to connect, create, build something with meaning.
That never goes away.
And neither does the need to adapt and learn.
All right, listeners, what are you waiting for? Go out there, find your passion, build your brand, and crush it.
And remember, stay flexible, keep learning, never be afraid to change course.
That's how you not just survive, but thrive. Okay, we're back and ready to wrap up our Crush It deep dive.
We've covered so much ground.
Passion, DNA, building a brand, creating content, making money.
But there was that one final piece.
The thing that could make or break it all.
Exactly, adaptability.
Okay, I get that things change online all the time.
Constantly.
But why is being adaptable so crucial?
Well, think about it. Vaynerchuk's book was 2009, right?
Yeah, ancient history in internet years.
Back then, Facebook was brand new. Twitter was just getting started.
I was still on MySpace.
Huh. See, that's my point. Things change so fast, you got to be able to keep up.
So how do we actually do that? Become more adaptable?
Vaynerchuk has this great analogy in the book. He compares the business world to a raging river.
Ooh, I love a good analogy.
He says if you try to stand still, you're going to get swept away.
Makes sense.
But if you're flexible, like a river rafter, you can ride those waves.
So how do we become those expert rafters? What's the secret?
First, stay informed. You got to know what's going on in your industry, the trends, the tech, what people are into.
No hiding from the world.
Exactly.
He's also big on continuous learning, right?
Never stop. Keep exploring, experimenting, trying new things.
Because as soon as you think you've got it all figured out,
Boom, something changes and you're left behind.
he even tells that story about the two businesses, right?
One refused to adapt. They went
Well,
on,
the other one?
embraced the new stuff, and took off. It's a pretty clear lesson.
So it's not enough to just plan for the future. You got to be ready to react right now.
That's what he calls reactionary business.
Oh, right. What was that again?
It's basically being able to shift gears instantly, see a trend, and jump on it.
Like Domino's Pizza. They had that whole PR mess.
But instead of ignoring it,
They owned it.
used social media to show how they were making things right.
That was pretty slick.
It's about turning a negative into a positive, and Vaynerchuk says that's more important than ever.
So we need to be flexible, open to new ideas.
Ready to change course when you have to.
And this connects back to all that stuff about passion and DNA, right?
Absolutely. When you love what you do and you're in your zone,
You've got that energy to face those challenges.
you can overwhelm.
Like passion fuels your resilience.
Exactly. And you know what? This whole adaptability thing, it's bigger than just business.
He's talking about life in general.
Being able to roll with the punches, that's a skill everyone needs.
So crush it. It's not just a business book
It's a whole mindset.
for navigating this crazy, ever-changing world.
Exactly.
Well, we've covered a ton of ground, from passion to DNA to content to adaptability.
Vaynerchuk's book might be from 2009.
But his ideas, they're still so relevant today.
Those core desires to connect, to create, to build something meaningful.
That never goes out of style.
And neither does the need to adapt and learn.
So to all our listeners out there, go find your passion, build your brand, and crush it.
But remember, stay flexible, keep learning, and don't be afraid to change things up.
That's how you thrive. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Crush It. We'll catch you next time.